All right, let's try this thing again. Hello, everybody. So this is my my Q&A for reaching 25,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I'm halfway to 26,000, so I figured I might as well get this out before I'm miss the bar completely. Got a brand new mic, little Yeti mic here. I've been having problems with some of the past live streams with crackling and some other stuff. So first time ever using it. Let me know in the chat if it's too loud, too low, if it's crackling, if it's peaking, whatever's going on, because right out of the box, I haven't touched anything with it. Now let me see if this time YouTube will let me pull the fucking video up, because some of you just caught me about 5 minutes ago trying to do this live stream and the shit would not let me pull up. And it's still not showing it. What the hell is going on here? I'm sorry, guys, if you're watching. I don't know what the hell's going on. Usually I go to YouTube and it lets me pull up the chat. All I see is myself. Well, this is a fucking fail. What the hell? Sorry, guys. Go ahead and you can chat amongst yourselves in the chat for a minute, see if I can figure this out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to try something else. I don't know what the hell is going on with this, why it's not working. What is going on here? My channel. There we go. Okay, now I see it. 72 watching. Okay. There. Now I see the chat. Okay. There we are. Nathan Andrew, the Repster, Unleashed Games, Tiffany Scott, Zachariah, Nathan Oswald, James Byers 5. Yes. Okay. Now we can get this shit rolling. Fucking YouTube, man. Gotta make everything difficult, bastards. Usually I just go to YouTube, the homepage. My live stream is right there in the corner. I just got to click on it. The chat pops up. This time I had to go fucking digging. All right. So I didn't catch in the chat if the microphone is working, if it's too loud or too low. So please let me know how that is going. And at the same time, you guys can go ahead and start posting some questions. But I got the mic set to where it should only receive sound from facing me, so we shouldn't be getting any background noise. If we are, let me know. I can change some settings with that too. This is kind of busting my cherry with this thing right here. So sounds good, sounds great, sounds fine to me. Okay, good. So I've been using my webcam, the camera on that, because my laptop, this new laptop, only has one headphone jack. So I have the choice of either using my headphones or using the microphone that I used to use. So I've had to use that for stream and everything, and it never sounds good. So I bought this to alleviate that. So thank you guys. 25,000 subscribers. That is fucking awesome. I think actually as of today, we're close to 25.6. Let me see. Quick little update here. We are at 25,556. So that is pretty fucking awesome. So thank you guys so much as always. Now let's get to some of your questions. Now, as always, I'll go ahead and put this asterisk out there. A lot of you guys are usually here. I got 89 watching right now. It's only going to get more as I keep going. So if I skip your question, I'm not being a dick, I promise. It's just me trying to kind of filter through and pick questions that catch my eye or questions that I haven't answered 1,000 times. So if I don't answer your question, feel free to post it again. If I see the same question over and over and there's a reason why I don't want to answer it, I'll let you know. But don't take any personal offense to me skipping your question, please. Let's see here. Robbie Green, what do you think about the 1986 Trick or Treat? I love the hell out of that movie. I've had the intention of reviewing it the past two Octobers, but the October before last, I had a dog bite incident, so I didn't really post anything until like the last day, like Halloween day, when I posted my top 10 movies to watch on Halloween, and even then I still look pretty rough. This past October, I was so overwhelmed with the Halloween franchise reviews, I never had time to do it. So this October, for sure, I'm going to be reviewing that film. But if you have not seen it, it's like a heavy metal horror film. It's definitely got some things that don't age well about it, like some of the effects, but it's a very cool movie, and I love the soundtrack. It's probably my favorite movie soundtrack of all time. What is your favorite and least favorite part of The Shining? Favorite part is Jack Nicholson. Least favorite part is his wife. What's her name? Shelley Duvall. I know that there's all these crazy stories out there about how Stanley Kubrick kind of like basically mentally tortured her to get like the most insane performance she possibly could. But for me, the third act of the movie, she just seems very over the top and off. Like when she's holding the knife and she's making faces like that, it doesn't quite work for me. Every time I get to that part of the movie, I'm like, oh yeah. But that's my favorite and least favorite part. Did you know that the Terrifier Terrifier 2 script was finished? I see the Instagram post, or whoever I think it was either the director or the guy that plays Art the Clown posted it. I don't know if that was the first draft or what, but it looked pretty beefy. So maybe they're going to put a lot more story into this one, because I mean, you can say what you will about what Terrifier does well. There's no story in that fucking movie, so the script for that one was probably about this big. But yeah, we're getting another one. I mean, it got so much buzz in the horror community. I'm surprised we don't already have the sequel out. Joshua John Manley, thoughts on Big Trouble in Little China, underrated Carpenter film. I might shock some people and say that I have never actually finished the whole thing. As much as a Carpenter fan as I am, that's one that I'm either going to end up not liking it very much, or it's going to take multiple watches for me to kind of gain my appreciation for it. I love Kurt Russell. I've seen the whole movie in pieces. I've seen the third act. I've seen the first act. I've seen most of the middle, but I've never actually sat and watched it start to finish. And it's just because it's something about that, ancient Chinese, like not really anime, but like that style of movie just doesn't really appeal to me too much. But I love Carpenter and I love everybody that's involved with it. So eventually I'll give it a rewatch. I'll probably do a Carpenter review series at some point. Don't quote me on it. Don't ask me in a week where it's at, but eventually I'll get to that movie. So that's one that I need to rewatch and actually sit and watch start to finish. Renegade Hero. Cody, you looking forward to scary stories to tell in the dark? Yes, I am, because Guillermo del Toro is in charge of it, and he always, if nothing else, gives you something very interesting to look at. And I used to always read those books as a kid, and they have some really scary stuff in there. So I'm looking forward to that one quite a bit. We get that, and we get Are You Afraid of the Dark in the same year, so that's going to be pretty crazy. Thank Bloop. Thoughts on Punisher cancellation? Worst kept secret in Hollywood, really. I mean, as soon as the Daredevil got canceled, everybody was like, well, count the minutes until Daredevil or until Punisher and Jessica Jones gets the boot. It's part of the reason why I haven't had the motivation to even finish season 2 of The Punisher. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I really liked the first season. I was really looking forward to season 2. Then everything started getting canceled. And I was like, oh, well, you kind of lose motivation to get more attached to a show that's not going to be there anymore. So doesn't surprise me at all. It sucks, but it doesn't surprise me. Beth S., what is your most anticipated horror film this year? That is Child's Play. Because I have a lot riding on Child's Play being successful, because I ran my mouth on it quite a bit on how good it should be if they do everything right. So I'm really excited for Child's Play. The trailer, the teaser that they gave us, it looked awesome to me. It delivered everything that I could have possibly wanted. So I'm crossing my fingers that they're going to nail it. Let me see. Mike Rojas, do you like Seed of Chucky? Mike Rojas is getting muted. No, just kidding. Do you believe we will get a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remake? Absolutely. They would be idiots to not do that, because the first remake of the remake of the original game is one of the most fan and critically accepted games in the franchise. This Resident Evil 2 that just came out a month ago people are loving it. It's kicking serious ass. They would be idiots to not follow through and do the third one. So yeah, I would say within the next 3 years we'll get that. Lil Malik, can I use something like 31 on 31st? Absolutely. I don't think I created the concept. Maybe I'm the first one to use 31 on 31st, like the Freddie, Michael, and Jason ranking, but yeah, feel free. I don't have a copyright on it or nothing. Thank you, Tiffany. Hades 8297, congrats on 25K, Cody. Also, do you think Pet Sematary will still be good even with spoilers? I hope so. And maybe we'll see the movie and them spoiling what they did in the trailers won't matter that much. Maybe it's out of the way in the first 20 minutes of the movie and the rest of the movie just goes on a nice little clip. Who knows? I just hate the fact that we have marketing that decides to do that. Like it just chaps my ass that I would have been shocked to have that revealed in the movie and not walk in knowing it from the fucking trailer, but I hope it's still going to be good. Looks like I got a super chat, so I'm going to scroll down for just a second. Matthew Harrison with $2. Thank you so much. And there's another one, or it should be another one. Where the hell's that? John Kyle Stanton for $5. Always a reliable dude in my chat. Cody, have you watched Starman yet? I have not. I need to get on that. I have so little time, it feels like, to actually sit down and genuinely watch a movie start to finish that most times I don't pick movies I've never seen before. Because by the time I get my kids asleep, it's usually 8:30. And then, you know, if I stay up for another 2 hours watching a movie, then I'm getting 5 hours of sleep. So usually I'll throw on movies I've already seen where I can halfway pay attention to it, maybe work on YouTube or fall asleep watching it or whatever. Movies like Starman that I've never seen before, that's like a weekend thing. And that, with all the shit that I have to do on the weekends, it's also kind of a hit and miss thing. But yes, I will be watching that here soon. Need to have a little Carpenter marathon, all the shit that I haven't seen. I'm going to go scroll back up to a random spot. Let me see here. How many times have you seen Glass? Asks Dominican Scott, and that is 2 times. Saw it once by myself, saw it once with Holly, loved it both times. FedEx Brother 13, if you were to title the Halloween 2018 sequel, what would it be? I don't know. I guess it depends on the storyline. I mean, you could do something generic like Halloween Returns or Halloween's Revenge or stupid shit like that. Or you could have Halloween, you know, the blank of Michael Myers. But I don't know. I don't think they should call it Halloween 2. I don't think they should call it Halloween because we already have like 5 of those. That's hard to say without knowing what the story direction is. Halloween Endgame, if Avengers didn't already take it. I don't know. Nathan Andrew, will you ever review The Human Centipede? No, thank you for asking. Reek Production, did you check out the Motley Crue? Oh, fuck. Thing just moved. His trailer was, did you check out the Motley Crue trailer, I'm assuming, the movie that's coming out on Netflix? I did. I'll definitely be watching it because I'm not the biggest Motley Crue fan, but they're also kind of a fascinating band because they're like the most infamous for like debauchery and just craziness and shit like that. So I'm hoping the movie's actually going to dive into that. I'm a little worried about the director, though. A friend of mine let me know that the director is the guy that directed all of the Jackass movies. That's what his directorial productions are, his filmography. So that's a little concerning. I'm hoping it's going to actually be an interesting movie and not just like a behind the music thing with actors. And I don't recognize any of the actors, so hopefully they can act too. But it should be interesting. I don't think I loved Bohemian Rhapsody, but the biggest thing everybody that I've heard have a complaint with it is that it kind of sugarcoats the real story. I don't see them sugarcoating the story of Motley Crue, so it should be interesting. Another super chat, Grave Warmer with $5. Thank you, sir. Hey, Cody, can you give us your best Rusty Nail impression on the new mic? Congrats on 25K. Oh, man. Now when I'm on the spot, I won't be able to do it. If I was doing a video, I could nail it. Candy cane, come on. I don't know. Ted Levine's a hard voice to nail. I need to find candy cane. Let me see. 141 watching. Hell yeah. Aaron Anderson, how about Taylor Kitsch as Batman? I like Taylor Kitsch. I think Taylor Kitsch is a good actor. And I wouldn't exactly throw my arms up if he was cast today. I think the whole grace period of making Taylor Kitsch an A-list like frontman actor has passed. You know, he was one of those guys, and we get one like every 2 or 3 years that Hollywood shoves down your throat. It's like, here's your movie star. Here's your movie star. And everybody was kind of like, pump the brakes. And he does really good with like side roles and stuff like that now, like in Lone Survivor and stuff. And he's capable of leading the movie. I think he just chose the wrong ones. But I wouldn't hand him Batman. So, like I said, I'm in the middle on it. Pretty much everybody that's being suggested now for Batman. What do you think of this guy's Batman? I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. There's not anybody that I would like hate as Batman. There's not really anybody that I'm like jumping up for joy, like, please cast this guy. I'm still kind of, the wounds are still kind of open that we're losing Ben Affleck. One more super chat. Ryan Ulinsky, thank you, sir, for $5. What are your thoughts on The Silence of the Lambs and Dark City if you have seen it? If not, I highly recommend it. Love both of them. The Silence of the Lambs is brilliant. I mean, there's not much more you could say about it. That's the best Hannibal Lecter movie by far. Dark City is a really underrated, underknown science fiction movie. Very cool, very trippy movie. It's a movie I'd like to review eventually to kind of get more people to watch it. But yeah, both very, very good movies. So if you're living under a rock and haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, highly recommend it. But Dark City, which I guarantee most, if not all of you have not seen, check that one out. It's pretty cool. Let me see. Beth S., would you ever review Revenge of the Nerds? I don't know. That's one that I would review probably if it was a Patreon request, but it doesn't really fit my channel too much. So I try not to do too many of those kind of off-the-cuff reviews just because people don't tend to respond very well to them. Not that people hate when I do them, like if I reviewed American Pie or something like that, but they don't really get traction on my channel. Where like if I dropped like a Hellraiser review, I'd probably have 6,000 views by the time I woke up. If I dropped a American Pie review, I'd be lucky to have 1,000 by the time I woke up. Not that it's all about the views. Definitely there's movies that I would review. I wouldn't give a shit if I had 2 views. I just want to talk about it. But just to randomly review a classic comedy like that, it would either have to be part of some review series that I was doing where everybody kind of knows to expect it, or a Patreon request. And YouTube's kind of finicky with the way that their algorithm works. If I just drop something random, they don't tend to push it very hard. So I would rather do something like that when I can kind of finagle the views a little bit and make sure that people actually have interest in seeing it. Will you review Alita Battle Angel? I'm probably not going to get a chance to see it in theaters. If I don't get to see it the first week that it's out, usually it's gone. I'm not going to be able to see it. But I hear good things. You know, Lee is basically saying that's his favorite movie of the year so far. So that kind of piques my interest a little bit. I thought it looked cool. I just chose to see Happy Death Day 2 instead. Tony Robinson, Cody, do you think Scream should do another sequel or reboot the franchise? I talked about this on a previous Q&A. I think you should just do a sequel. I don't see the reason why that franchise would need to be rebooted, because you're not going to be able to go back and remake Scream in the sense that it's making fun of or kind of poking fun at 80s slashers and make it fresh again. You can only really do that once. The first Scream did it. Scream works best whenever it talks about the current climate in horror. So you could easily do a sequel. It doesn't even have to include Sidney Prescott. It can just reference the events of the previous films, or Ghostface Killer is kind of known, and you just carry on and talk about the current state of horror. So I really don't see any reason why you would have to clean the slate and delete all the sequels if you did another Scream movie. I think that would be senseless. Kelkin0706, which is your favorite horror show? There's not too many that I've watched. Hannibal was awesome. Bates Motel was awesome. I'm not a huge fan of American Horror Story. Most people would say that. I love people say is their favorites. I really did not like Coven. And I only made it through about 2 to 3 episodes of every other season up to Cult. Cult I recently just watched like 3 months ago, just randomly wanting something to watch. And although it kind of fizzled out in the last 2-3 episodes, I thought that was a pretty good season. I don't really have any interest in watching Apocalypse, but not that you asked this question about American Horror Story, but I feel like I need to justify why I don't like it because everybody else does. But out of Hannibal or Bates Motel, I'd probably give the slight edge to Bates Motel because we actually got an ending. If Hannibal comes back and gives us another season that's based off of Silence of the Lambs, that one will probably take it. Unless, well, actually, I don't know. If you count Supernatural as a horror show, that's easily my favorite. But that's more, I mean, it is horror, but it's also some sci-fi and stuff. We'll say Supernatural. Because Supernatural, I genuinely am a huge fan of. Oh, CP, donating money. Must be a dick pic. Let me see. Oh, just a random one. Okay. Thank you, CP. Maybe he's got a question. Let me scroll down for just a second. Where are you at? There he is. No question. He just wanted attention. Scott Soltow with $5. Thank you, sir. Nathan Oswald, $2. Fast 9 and Godzilla vs. Kong released same weekend. That's stupid. That's the same fucking audience. People who want to see Fast 9 are the people that want to see Godzilla vs. Kong. So one of those movies will be moving. I can almost guarantee that. Otherwise, they're both sacrificing a lot of money. Willis Credia, congrats. Recycling a previous super chat. Thoughts on RoboCop? That's another movie where I've seen the original multiple times, but it was years ago as a kid. I tried to watch when there was like rumors that the unrated like NC-17 cut was on Amazon Instant Video. I popped it on one night, but I fell asleep because it was really late. But I really liked what I rewatched. I think I got like 45 minutes into it. I mean, there's no denying it's a classic. I would assume there's probably some things about it that's a little bit dated, but RoboCop is definitely pretty badass. And I didn't hate the remake. I mean, it definitely should have been a little bit grittier. I don't know why people remake Paul Verhoeven movies and make them PG-13. Like when they did Total Recall, even though I still like that one too. It's like you just neuter the movie when you make it PG-13. But I didn't hate the remake. So those are my thoughts on some RoboCops. Ollie Jones with a bunch of hearts. Love you, honey. Let me scroll back up here. Juno 2000, will you review Eddie Murphy's films? I'm sure I'll review some of them eventually. I don't see myself doing a full-on Eddie Murphy like marathon kind of thing. I would only want to review the good ones, like the 80s and early 90s shit, like Beverly Hills Cop and 48 Hours and Nutty Professor and The Golden Child, which is probably my favorite. Once you start getting into like Daddy Daycare and all that kind of stuff, then we can forget about those. Jordan 1996, congrats on 25. Cody, thank you. Any chance we could ever see a review of Metal Gear Solid or even the series as a whole? You've mentioned it a bit. Be great to hear more of your thoughts on it. A full-on review, probably not, unless we get a new game or a remaster or something like that, like the Resident Evil 2 game that I can actually play and review something that people are actually talking about right now. Much more likely to happen if I do one is probably like a ranking video, like ranking the Metal Gear Solid games or something. That way I can talk about the whole series a little bit, and it'll be a little bit more entertaining for those that don't really remember or care about the first Metal Gear Solid. But that is my favorite game of all time, so very likely eventually I'll be talking about it. Vinny Montaigne, will you review the Saw movies? I'm probably going to get stuck reviewing them at some point this year. I'm kind of running out of horror series, so now I've got Hellraiser, Saw, Wrong Turn, Final Destination, what the fuck else? Leprechaun, Wishmaster. You start getting into those. I pretty much knocked out all the big ones, so Saw will be coming eventually. I can't promise a date because I'm not really all that interested in reviewing them. I only genuinely like the second one. I think the first one's not even as good as everybody makes it out to be. But if I'm movies that I can actually watch, I like the first three. But beyond that, I really don't care. So it's a series that I think will get difficult to review after maybe the fourth film. Because it's like, it's the same fucking movie over and over again. Yeah, the kills were cool. The characters suck. The story's weird. Next. That's what it'd be like. So unless I watch them again, I have some huge epiphany like, oh my God, these are all great. What was I thinking? But I don't know. Maybe that'll be what I do sometime in October. I'm going to need something to do in October, so maybe around Halloween time I'll do Saw since there's quite a few of them. Renegade Hero, what did you think of the Meg? It was on my top 10 worst of the year, so there you go. It's not a horrible movie. I didn't see a lot of really, really, really bad movies last year, but the Meg is just a neutered version of what it should have been. There's like no gore whatsoever. There's no like tension. It's a silly, stupid popcorn movie about Jason Statham fighting a gigantic ass shark. And even the way that it wraps up, Jason Statham just gets pissed off. And I'm not going to spoil it, but the way that it wrapped up really quick, I was just kind of like, whatever, dude. So it was okay. We saw it at the drive-in. It was a fun experience seeing it there, but it was just another mediocre to shark movie. Jaws and Deep Blue Sea are the only two good shark movies I've ever seen in my life. And Jaws is on like a whole other level. So let me see here. Joe Mama, hey Cody, have you seen the movie Hellfest? If so, what did you think? I don't remember if that made my lists, but I thought it was very generic. I watched it. It was the last couple of weeks of December whenever I was off of work. I had rented and bought a lot of movies that I missed throughout the year preparing for my lists. And I went ahead and just bought Hellfest on Amazon Instant Video because it was there. I didn't feel like waiting for it to be on Blu-ray. And a lot of people seemed to like it. I thought it was so generic. I thought the killer was generic. I thought that aside from the one kill with like the mallet, whenever he killed the dude, crushed his head on the little carnival machine that shoots the thing up and hit the bell. I thought that was kind of a cool kill. But other than that, just generic stabs. The way that it wrapped up, like everybody was like, oh, the twist ending. And I was like, what twist ending? That the guy is a regular fucking... No. So it like a 2 out of 5 movie at best for me. If they do a sequel, I'm going to have no interest in it unless it's like everybody just freaks out, says that they really learned their lessons from the first one. Just a basic generic slasher that I wish horror fans had bigger standards, because it seems like every time you get a slasher, everybody jumps all over. Oh my God, we got a slasher. We have to like it because it's the only one we've gotten in 2 years. No, you can call it shit because that's what it is. No disrespect to anybody if you did like Hellfest, but it just seemed like it got way overpraised in my circles. Kyle Shea, will you ever review the Blade trilogy? Abso-fucking-lutely. I love the Blade trilogy. I even like the third movie, and there's a lot of problems with the third movie, but I can still enjoy it. But the first 2 are badass, so I'll definitely review those at some point. Matthew Harrison, Cody, who's your favorite actor? That is a really hard one to answer. I can just list off some: Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Robert De Niro, Bruce Willis, the good Bruce Willis, not the red box Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, Bryan Cranston, absolutely. There's a good little round list. I don't know. There's probably a couple I'm missing, but it's somewhere in that vein. I don't really have like the one. Like there's a poster on my wall. Tony Robinson, Cody, have you thought about reviewing the Scary Movie franchise? No. I'm not a big fan of spoof movies. I like the first 2 Scary Movies. I thought the other ones were garbage. I didn't even see the 5th one, I don't think. But I don't, unless it was a request or something, I really don't think I'd have too much interest in doing that. The first 2 are pretty funny, but just spoof movies in general are just not really my thing. Ugh. Sean Scared, I'm not sure if you got to my question or not. Would you please review Cooties, Mom and Dad, and The Stuff? Cooties, I think I tried to watch, didn't really get into it. I don't know about that one. Mom and Dad, I didn't review it, but I saw it last year. I thought it was actually pretty enjoyable. The Stuff is one that I definitely want to see, and I definitely want to review, because it's one that ever since I was a kid, I remember seeing a preview on a VHS tape for some movie that I had. I don't remember what fucking movie it was, but I used to always see the preview of The Stuff, and I used to always look in the video store for The Stuff. That was always how I chose what movies I wanted to introduce myself. It was either the VHS cover, we're talking blockbuster days here, people, the VHS cover being badass, like Return of the Living Dead Part 3, or a trailer on a random movie that I was watching. I'm like, oh, I want to see that. But The Stuff always looked cool. So I will hunt down a copy of The Stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do this shit live. Is this bitch even on Blu-ray? Let me see here. Damn it, come on, bitch. If it's on Blu-ray, I will buy this motherfucker while I am on live right now. But if it's not, I got to figure out where to get it. The Stuff, Blu-ray, $39. Oh my God. Is it worth it, people? Is it worth $40 for the Arrow release? Is it? Hopefully it is, because I just bought it. So that easy. So there you go. Eventually I will get to The Stuff. Thank you for reminding me, because that's one of those movies I'm like, I need to see that damn thing, and I always forget about it. So now I don't have a choice. It's coming to my doorstep. Sumnet Narankari, would you take a trip to Chicago? I would love to take a trip to Chicago. Whether or not I actually will anytime soon is way up in the air, but there's a lot of places I'd love to visit. There's a lot of like New York, Chicago, California. There's a lot of states that states and some famous city, Philadelphia, that I'd love to go and visit just to see the sights, see some of the like the stairway with the Rocky statue in Philadelphia, and to eat, you know, cheesesteaks and Chicago style pizza and all this regional food that you can only check out in those actually cities. So that I'd love to take a trip around the U.S. and visit places I've never been before, because I've never been west of Texas. Don't know how to add a message to my super chat. Oh, okay. Can you review a music video, Boys Gonna Rock by Vinnie Vincent Invasion? I don't think there would be any audience for me reviewing a music video, so probably not, unfortunately. Thank you for your super chat, though, but no, that's probably not something I would ever do, even for a band that I liked on a song that just dropped today. I don't know how you review a music video. I could review a song, I can review a single, I can review an album. I've done that before, but I don't know how you would review a music video too much. I don't know if I'd even be good at that. Gary Rangel, are you interested in the Chucky expanded universe that Don Mancini is doing, TV show and future movies? Not until he proves himself again, because Don Mancini is on my shit list. He's planning on doing a TV series. Supposedly, it's going to go back to the tone of the first two movies. I just did a video on this not even a week ago, which excites me, because if that's actually true and they're not just blowing smoke up our ass and telling us what we want to hear, that's good, because those are the best movies, is the early ones. But as far as Don Mancini being in charge and being in charge of the writing and everything, I have not liked where this franchise has gone since he's been in charge. So I have no reason to believe that it's going to suddenly turn around and be something awesome. And future movies is the same thing. You know, Cult kind of soured me quite a bit. He gained my faith back a good bit with Curse. I still didn't love Curse, but it was a big step in the right direction after Seed. And then Cult went right back down to Shitville. So I'm really looking forward to the remake. I will absolutely watch the TV show the moment that it drops, but am I looking forward to it? Do I have faith in it? Joshua Stallard, favorite NFL team? Don't watch football, so I have none. My dad is a Lions fan, so yes, he cusses and screams a lot. But no, I've never really been a sports watcher. I can go to like a sports game, like an actual live game, and have fun just kind of being out with family or friends or whatever. But as far as turning on the TV, I've always hated it. I've never liked going to like a bar or a restaurant to watch a football game. I've never liked going over to somebody's house to watch the Super Bowl. It just does not interest me. I don't get the mass appeal for it. I get really fucking annoyed at how obsessed people are with it. Like at work, all people talk about during football season is fucking this game, that game. Did you see this game last night? Such and such got such and such rushing yard, this and that, this player right here, this player. And it's like they know all the fucking stats like the back of their hand. I'm like, do you do anything in life but watch fucking football? People could say the same thing with me about movies, but at least I can talk and I can give commentary on art. You know what I mean? I'm watching somebody's art. Football, you're watching big behemoth motherfuckers get paid billions of dollars to throw a ball around. I mean, people love it. It's the most popular thing in this fucking country. I just, that's the one thing that everybody loves that I just don't get. I don't get it at all. Brett Sheffield, would you recommend your subscribers check out The Devil's Rejects, or is that a film you would give a skip it? The Devil's Rejects is a movie that I want to review eventually. I want to go back and review a lot of the older Rob Zombie movies, or his first couple movies. The first time that I saw House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, I fucking hated both of them when they first came out. Just the style, the dialogue, it turned me off so much I couldn't stand them. I rewatched both of them about 6 months ago. And though I did not necessarily like or love them, I appreciated them a lot more. So The Devil's Rejects, at least on my last viewing, where I was just kind of watching them casually, I wasn't really looking at them critically, it would at least get a see it on Netflix. So it wouldn't get a skip it. But it's a movie that I would like to put on and actually kind of watch and analyze a bit, because I do have interest in the characters. But it, like all Rob Zombie films, is most of it's just his writing that turns me off so much. Matthew Harrison, Cody, if you could remake Freddy's Dead, which is the worst of the Nightmare franchise, how would you do it? I would use Peter Jackson's script. A lot of people don't know that Peter Jackson wrote a treatment for that movie that they canned, where it was going to be that Freddy had lost all of his power almost and all of his fear in the community, and nobody feared him. Kids would actually go to sleep to end up in the dream world to kick the shit out of him. and he ends up getting pissed off and finds some way to come back and spread fear again and starts taking revenge on all the kids in Elm Street. That sounds fucking awesome. It probably would have still been terrible because it would have been Rachel Talalay directing it, but that sounds like a pretty fucking awesome idea for a Freddy movie for some final chapter or whatever. So if I was going to go back and change that movie, that's what I would do. I would hire Peter Jackson to write the script and keep it. Willie B, do you think if the Child's Play reboot works out, they should make a part 2? Absolutely. That's what they're counting on. They wouldn't make a movie with franchise potential if they weren't planning on capitalizing on it if the movie's successful, which it will be. It will be financially successful. Whether or not it's critically and fan reception successful, we'll wait to see. But it's definitely going to make more money than the past, I'll say, 3 Chucky movies combined. Opinion on Black Klansman. I haven't seen it yet. I bought it. I've yet to watch it. I do plan on watching that one, though, because everybody's talking it up pretty good. Let me see. I need to scroll down a little bit and catch back up. So sorry about skipping your questions, guys, but I need to get back to current before everything I say is 2 hours past where everybody's at. Let me see here. Super chat from Star Heavenly. Will you do a Bride of Chucky commentary? I would love to do that. Definitely. I did the first 2 movies, even though the second one, I don't think. Is it the second one? No, the second one's there. There was Nightmare on Elm Street 3 I did that YouTube fucking deleted after I signed off of live. But eventually, Bride of Chucky commentary, very strong possibility. Cody, thoughts on Terminator Dark Fate, which is the upcoming Terminator film. If you are unfamiliar, the stars Linda Hamilton once again. Arnold Schwarzenegger's coming back. It's going to be a direct sequel to Judgment Day and erase everything else. I'm excited for it. I still enjoy the bad Terminator films. Like, I enjoy Terminator 3. I enjoy Salvation more than most. And I had some stupid fun with Genesis. So I've never seen a Terminator movie that's just trash, like ungodly bad. But it excites me that they're going back to the second movie, getting back to what we love. Hopefully, bringing Linda Hamilton back is a big step in the right direction. I'm curious who or what they're going to do with John Connor. Cannot talk tonight. John Connor. But that's the one element of the series that always bugs me is every single movie somebody different plays John Connor. There's no continuity with that character whatsoever. So I don't know what they're going to do with him. But I have faith that it's going to be good. I think it's going to be better than the last 3. I don't know if it'll come even close to how good the first 2 are, but I'm looking forward to it. J Chip Show. What are some of your favorite Resident Evil monsters? You've got the Lickers are awesome. I like the Tyrant in the first game. Nemesis, of course, is badass. Let's see, Resident Evil 4. What can I talk about? Resident Evil 4, I like the I don't remember the fucking dude, Salazar or whatever, the little guy that turns into the big monster. He's pretty cool. Wesker, when he eventually turns into a monster, but Wesker's pretty badass. I'm trying to think if there's other, like, the snake in the first game is pretty fucking scary, especially because it just comes out of nowhere. That's all I can think of at the moment. Resident Evil 7. Those were just kind of like tar monster kind of things. Those are kind of generic. That's probably my best answers for those. The Lickers is probably my favorite, though. They just look awesome. Let me see here. I think I have another super chat that I missed. I have a couple. AJ Daniels, would you rank the Indiana Jones movies? I'll rank those after I review them. That will be a review series I'll do eventually. But that's one of those series that, if it's a series that I want to review the movies, I don't like doing a ranking. Damn, I don't know what the hell. I got like hiccups or something. But I like doing the reviews first and then ending with a ranking to kind of wrap up my thoughts. So eventually I'll get to those. I know I use the word eventually a lot, guys, but there's so many movies I want to review that it's hard for me to like promise anything. Jason Nike, have you seen Silver Bullet? I have. I have it coming up as a patron request. I don't. It might even be you. I'm not even sure. Are you one of my patrons? I got 80 of them now, so I try to keep track of everybody's name, but it starts to blur together sometimes. But I do have it coming up for a patron request. I've already made the thumbnail. I need to rewatch it before I go in front of the camera to kind of get fresh eyes on it, but I've seen it quite a few times. Have you reviewed They Live? Asks Robbie Green. No, I have not, but yes, I will eventually because I am a big fan of that movie. Slim MCL, if Blumhouse does make a Friday the 13th reboot, do you think they will try to do Jason versus Michael, or do you think they will be keeping the characters separate? I don't think you're going to see Jason versus Michael ever. So no, I wouldn't want them to do that. I've said before, two silent killers going at it would be extremely boring. The only reason Freddy versus Jason works is because Freddy has charisma and can spout off one-liners while they're fighting. If you just had Jason and Michael, it would be all day long. It would just visually, it wouldn't work. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever get that movie. Kelkin0706, what's your thoughts on Daredevil Season 3? I thought it was a flawless season of television. I thought it was the best season of Daredevil and the best season of Netflix Marvel that we have gotten yet, and then they fucking canceled it. Blurry Face, Phantasm 3 review happening this month. It should be. It's been hard nailing old Lee down to watch the damn thing. I get texts all the time like, I'm watching it this weekend. I'm like, all right, cool. And then it doesn't happen. Like, I think he tried to watch it twice a couple of weeks ago, but something kept getting in the way. So I don't even know if he's finished the movie yet. But yeah, whenever I get confirmation from Lee that he's actually finished it and can start filming a review, we'll get that one out. But that one has definitely been slow. So spam Lee, message him, harass him about the Phantasm 3 review. Let me see. Cinema of the Dead, super chat. Hey, Cody, are you looking forward to Annabelle 3? I guess so. I really liked Annabelle. What the fuck? Annabelle Creation. I really liked that one. The first one I think is better than most people give it credit for, but it wasn't great. A third one, I mean, it's kind of getting old. But if it's a good story, if the trailer pulls me in, I'll be excited. Just reading Annabelle 3, though, am I excited? I can take it or leave it. Let me see. I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom here now. Game and Reader. Have you ever heard of Theory of a Dead Man? If so, favorite song or album? I am not a fan. I thought they were cool when they first came out. They had some song. What the hell is it called? Say Goodbye, I want to say, was one of their first singles that I heard. It was on a video game. And I heard it and I was like, that sounded pretty good. And this was when, hopefully I don't lose subscribers for saying this. This was when I was a Nickelback fan. Nickelback I thought was good when they first came out, when they were like post-grunge and they had a lot of actually rock songs. When they started going super radio, like right around Silver Side Up, right, or not Silver Side Up, All the Right Reasons past, I started to hate them. But Theory of a Dead Man to me sounded kind of like Nickelback when they were good, but they got trashed quick. Theory of a Dead Man. Theory of a Dead Man's lyrics, I think, are garbage. When you listen to something like Bad Girlfriend or like what's that song that just came out? It might not even be new, but I hear it on the radio all the time. It's a recent song of theirs, but their lyrics are just trash. To me, Theory of a Dead Man is like a poor man's Nickelback, and I don't even like Nickelback, so sorry if you're a fan of them, but then I'm not a fan of Theory of a Dead Man at all. I like Say Goodbye. That's the one song I can remember that I genuinely like of theirs. Beyond that, Let me see. Are you going to review The Hitcher? Absolutely. I don't think that one's on Blu-ray yet and can't buy it on Amazon Instant Video because it's not available for some stupid-ass reason. So I have no way to watch it to kind of review it. But whenever I get a Blu-ray release or something, that's one that I'll definitely fast track. Christopher Carter, which do you like more, Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984 or Halloween from 2018? I don't know if that's trolling or not, but that should be an obvious answer. Nightmare on Elm Street 1984 beats the fuck out of Halloween 2018. 2008 Jason versus Rob Zombie's Michael Myers. Who would win? I would say Jason, because Michael Myers is pretty brutal, but Jason is basically immortal. Michael Myers is human. So, I mean, we never got a sequel for them to like explore how immortal he is, but you have to assume he's immortal, just like the first incarnation of Jason is. But even if that Jason was human, I think he would still fuck up that Michael Myers. That Jason was like a freight train. J Chip Show, what advice would you give to someone that wants to start a YouTube channel? They're kind of cliche, but they're true. One is be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. If you do, people will call you out on it and you will fail. 2 is be consistent. Like if you're going to drop 2 videos a week, then continue to drop 2 videos a week. Don't be one of those channels that drops 2 videos in a week and then disappears for 3 weeks and then drops 5 videos and then disappears for a month. Consistency is key with getting your subscribers to stay with you and getting YouTube to stay with recommending your videos. And the third one is don't be discouraged, because unless you have some wild viral video, which hardly any of us do, you're not going to be successful right off the bat. You might not even be successful for 2 years. I know people that have been doing YouTube for 5+ years that have less subscribers than I do. And it's not the lack of, some of them are lack of talent, but it's not like there's lack of effort or lack of talent or lack of quality. Sometimes it's just people that don't know how to kind of play the YouTube game, as CP calls it, where you actually know how to finagle the YouTube algorithm and actually treat your YouTube channel as a business. But even me, who's a mildly successful channel, as far as money goes, which is why most people would think to start a channel, I didn't see a check until the first 10 months, and it was just $100 check. So as far as actually getting traction and getting going, it takes a while. When you first start out, especially, I mean, I was dumping 6 to 8 hours into one video, putting a lot of time and energy into like news shows and stuff like that. You have to kind of figure out what people want to watch. You have to figure out what your strengths and your weaknesses are. You have to figure out what you actually want to do, get some kind of a rhythm going. It takes a while to not only figure all that out, but get your audience together too. Like, you're not going to start YouTube and then get 1,000 subscribers in a couple of months. It's just not going to happen. Like I said, unless you have like a viral video or you're doing clickbait shit like ending explained on everything, something like that. But if just those 3, be yourself, don't get discouraged, and whatever the fuck the second one was, I can't remember. I'm talking too much, but that's basically it. They're cliche, but they're true. Let me see. I already talked about the Punisher being canceled. For a couple people that are asking that, you can scroll the video back. Exterminator, don't you think it's ridiculous that Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie films is a foot taller than the original Michael Myers? I think that Michael Myers fits the tone of the Rob Zombie movies perfectly. Is it exactly what the character was intended to be with the John Carpenter movie? No, not even close. But for the Rob Zombie movies, what he was going for, the Tyler Mane Michael Myers works perfectly. The Red Hood, if you were writing Halloween 2, what direction would you take the franchise? I would get it the fuck away from Laurie Strode. I mean, I don't know if you take the whole movie to do that or if you wrap it up in the first act. I don't know. That's the hole that they fucking put themselves in with that ending of Halloween 2018, because you're going to, if let's say that they just want to go in a different direction, they want to wrap things up with Laurie Strode, so they wrap it up in the first 15 minutes. She dies of her wounds in the previous movie or whatever. Then you're going to piss a lot of fans off because they're probably going to market it showing Jamie Lee Curtis. They're going to show Jamie Lee Curtis in the poster, and she's going to be there for 15 minutes. It's going to be the same shit that happened with Resurrection. Or people that just don't want to see that character go. If you do the same thing you did with Halloween 2018, or what they promised us it was, where it's another final showdown between Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis that takes the whole movie to finally get there for her to die fighting him or whatever they decide to do, then you're just retreading the exact same shit you did with the previous movie, probably to a lesser degree for those that really like that movie. So then it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with either of those scenarios. So that's the biggest hardship that they painted themselves with, is how do you wrap up the Laurie Strode thing? If they even want to wrap it up. They might stretch it out for 3 fucking movies. Who knows? But if it was me in charge, I would wrap that shit up so that we can move on to something else. To me, it makes no sense to make them not siblings anymore, to cut that tie, to cut that motivation that should have never been there in the first place, just to handcuff him right back to Jamie Lee Curtis, and he can only be in a movie if she's there. So how would I do it? I don't know. It's really fucking difficult to try to figure out how to do that without pissing all the fans off and without ruining what they did succeed with Halloween 2018. That's one that I would have to sit down and kind of figure it out, because I think that the transition should be taking the focus away from Jamie Lee Curtis and putting it on the granddaughter. But how you get from point A to point B in one movie, I don't know. I don't know if you need to do that quickly or if you need to stretch it out for one more movie and leave the third movie to be the one that doesn't have Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know. That's a very difficult question to ask. If I was doing it my way, the ending of Halloween 2018 would have been much differently, and we would have had the whole world in front of us, carte blanche, to do whatever we wanted with Halloween 2. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to go the safe route. Zach Gaxiola. Yo, Cody, thoughts on the 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead directed by Tom Savini? I've never seen it before, but I actually just bought it on Blu-ray last week. So it's sitting right there. I could see it on top of my shelf. So it's one that I plan on watching here very soon. Let me see here. Drewski, nothing can come between us. Will Sorrell, Cody, you skipped both of my super chats. Let me scroll back up then. Unless that's an old thing. Maybe I caught it before or after you said that. Where is it at? Will, I do not see one. Oh, okay. Will Sorrell, thoughts on Breaking Bad? Just finished it. I fucking love Breaking Bad. That's my favorite TV show of all time. I have nothing negative to say about it. And your other one is deleted. So I apologize, man. Some of the $2 ones, guys, although I'm not saying you need to donate more, the $2 ones go very quickly. Like it shows me a little indicator up at the top, but if it's like a $2 one, the timer runs out on it really quick and then it disappears. So while I'm in the middle of talking about something, before I'm even done what I'm saying, the $2 one just kind of disappears. So I apologize if I miss it. But Breaking Bad, yeah, that's my favorite show of all time. I'm going to want to review those very soon here too. All right, scrolling back to the bottom. What time is it? 9:45. I'll probably go till 10:15, guys, just to let you know. It's about a half an hour. I keep saying that when I do these, I end up going for like 2-3 hours, but I definitely have to get to sleep tonight. So 10:15, another half an hour. So let me see. Tyler Slavin, I know you said you don't get scared, but what is your personal scariest movie you've ever seen? That goes to Pet Sematary, because Zelda used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. No matter how many times I watched it. And then the movie would creep me out quite a bit with the music and everything, because I'd always watch it late at night. I don't know, I was kind of sadistic like that. But or masochistic, I guess. But the movie has evolved. I've said this before. It's evolved since I've had a kid and become an adult and everything. The movie is much more scary and disturbing now than it was when I was a kid. So that's a movie that definitely I would say is probably the most disturbing, scary movie to me. Holly Jones, Breaking Bad brought us together. Yes, it did. Fun little story there. So when Holly and I first kind of started talking to each other, I don't remember if I just forced her to watch it, like shoved it on her. I just suggested. I think she was in the military at the time, so she was getting ready to do like an overnight shift where she had to work from like 11 p.m. to like 7 a.m. or some shit. So I told her to watch Breaking Bad. And she got on, either because she was trying to impress me or because she really liked the show, she got on like this Breaking Bad kick where she was like watching like 5 seasons over a couple of days or some shit like that. So yeah, while we were kind of coming together, she was falling in love with Breaking Bad. So that was the glue that held us together for the first couple of weeks there. Let me see. Jamil Tutrill, thoughts on Candyman? I actually have a full review for it, so that's an easy question. Go check out the review. I mean, I really like the movie. That's my thoughts on it. But if you want all of my thoughts on it, go check out the review. And buy me pizza. What are you talking about? I ain't buying you pizza. It's 10 o'clock at night. Are you excited for the Jay and Silent Bob reboot? I keep seeing that one. Maybe. I don't know. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is hilarious. Name something that Kevin Smith has done that's been genuinely funny since Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like I really like Red State. That's about it. I mean, Tusk was weird as fuck. I never saw it, but whatever the one with the one that he just did, Yoga Hosers or whatever, is apparently ungodly horrible. So I don't know. I thought Clerks 2 was pretty bad. I don't know if Kevin Smith has a genuinely funny movie in him anymore. Maybe his time has passed. I don't know. So does the concept of bringing Jay and Silent Bob back for another movie excite me? Somewhat, I guess, if I see a trailer. But do I have a lot of faith in it? Not really. What do I think of Pantera? I've seen that one quite a few times too. I'm not as big a fan of them as most people. I have the songs that I love that pretty much everybody loves. Like I love Cowboys from Hell. I love Walk. I love This Love, Cemetery Gates, 5 Minutes Alone. Some of their bigger hits, but they also kind of trail into the. I'm not really somebody that likes really like throaty, like Cookie Monster vocals. And they were kind of one of the first big ones to do that. Like Phil Anselmo gets really like, and it's not quite for me. But they do have quite a few pretty damn good songs. So they're not a band that I know like full albums by, or that they're one of my favorite bands of all time, but they are a band that I do have certain songs that I like quite a bit. Zach Gaxiola, what do you want to see the most in Toy Story 4? A reason for it to exist, because Toy Story 3 was a phenomenal ending to that trilogy, so they better have something damn good up their sleeves to bring it back just for the hell of it, other than printing money. So they better have a really, really good story for it. I have all the faith in the world. I mean, all three of the Toy Story films are awesome, phenomenal. So I have no reason to doubt that the fourth one won't be good, but I am worried about not necessarily tarnishing the third one, but kind of throwing away how good of an ending that is just to kind of tack on an extra story. But we'll see. Will Sorrell, hey Cody, don't worry about the other super chat. Just keep making great content. What are your thoughts on Punisher season 2 and Daredevil season 3? Daredevil season 3 I thought was phenomenal. I thought it was the best season of any Marvel Netflix show. I thought it was flawless. Punisher season 2 I have not finished yet because I haven't really had the motivation to finish something that gets canceled. So I've only got 2 episodes into it. I liked the first episode. The second episode lost my interest quite a bit because this girl that he's protecting is annoying the fuck out of me. That typical damsel in distress that just doesn't want to listen and does everything he asks her not to do. It annoyed the shit out of me. So I will probably, it'll be like a night like, not like tonight where I'm live streaming, but a night like tonight where I have nothing to do that I'll throw on an episode or 2. But I don't really have a whole lot of motivation to finish it because it got canceled. So, Christopher Carter, Cody, do you think Exorcist 1973 is the scariest movie of all time? No, I do not. Where am I at here? I hate how this chat, like, I'll go to scroll and it'll like bounce and it'll just shoot me into a random section. 0613 Davis, would you do a Q&A with Sean Chandler? Absolutely. I mean, Sean's skyrocketed, so I mean his audience is probably doesn't really know me too well, except for the ones that were there when he started. But yeah, I mean, I would do a Q&A on his channel. I'm sure he would do a Q&A on mine. I mean, Sean's not one of those guys that has kind of like outgrown me as a friend or something like that. Like, oh, I'm almost at 100,000. Who are you again? He's not one of those kind of guys. So, I mean, if I invited him to do a Q&A, I think he would do it in a heartbeat. Whether or not he would do it on his channel, I don't know. Just he has a lot more scheduled out stuff than I do. I'm kind of more off the cuff. Fuck it, I feel like doing this kind of thing. But yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. T-Ball 23.99. How did you meet Lee, CP, Brian, etc.? Lee, I met February before last when Rings came out, the third Ring movie. I did my Rings review, and I was still a very young channel. Still, I had like, what, 400 subscribers or some shit, maybe. And I was trying to kind of branch out, find other reviewers to kind of build some friends, build a community. And I found I went that day that I posted or maybe it was the day after, but it was that weekend that Rings came out. And I went on YouTube, I searched for Rings review, and like the top 4 or 5 reviews, I watched them. And I think of the 5, 3 of them, I left a message because I used to get really pissed off, and I will still get pissed off about this if somebody just puts something like, hey, great review, here's the link to mine, or here's the link to my channel. That's spamming people's channel, and I fucking hate that. So I didn't want to do that. So I would actually watch the guys' reviews. I would kind of think of or see something that I agreed with or see something I wanted to talk about, and I would start a discussion. And in the midst of discussion, I would say, hey, I have a channel, and this is my review if you want to check it out. Lee was the only one of 3 that I messaged that was like, all right, yeah, man, cool, I'll check it out. I didn't expect him to, but he did. And he left a comment. And then I subscribed to him. And then I think it was like later on that week or something, I had asked him a question on one of his videos, what his ranking of the Halloween franchise would be. And then he did his Halloween franchise ranking like the next week and gave me a shout out and recommended everybody check out my channel. So I was like, well, hell, this guy's pretty fucking cool. Because he was like at, 2,000 plus subscribers at the time. Because I think when I met Lee, he was almost at 3,000, if I'm remembering correctly. So through some interactions like that, just kind of commenting on each other's channels and stuff like that and shooting the shit a little bit, they were doing Scream Stream, and it was still kind of in its early stages. It was when Zach, at the time was Zach versus the Blu-ray Mountain. Now it's Cavern of Terror, but it was Zach, CP, and Lee. And they would do it at like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I would always be a regular viewer. I was commenting and ask questions and stuff like that. And somehow in conversation, Lee invited me to be a guest on Scream Stream. So it was right around the time that we were also planning on doing a collab. We were doing a collab on top 5 horror sequels, which we did on my channel. The video is still up. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever done. But we had done that collab and worked on it. And so whenever I actually had a day off where I could join them, we themed Scream Stream off of that, and we talked about our favorite horror sequels. So I came in, it was me, it was Zach, CP, and Lee, and the video should still be on Drum Dums if you want to see it, my debut on Scream Stream. And it just clicked. I mean, everything clicked. That was the first time I interacted with CP. So everything clicked, everything went really well, and then kind of the rest is history from there. Like it was basically an open-ended invitation for me then, like, dude, whenever you want to be on Scream Stream, be there. You don't even have to ask. My work schedule never really allowed me to be when they were doing it at 11, but about a month or so after that, Lee wanted to do it at night, which is the time slot we've been doing it ever since, like around 8:30, and then I could do it whenever. So we tried it once. The viewership was like 3 times whatever it was at 11 o'clock, and he was like, well, we're doing it like this from now on. Unfortunately, Zach kind of got left out because of his work schedule, but for the show, it made more sense to do it when more people were watching. So then it was like a regular thing. And some point in between there, CP invited me on his channel. It was right after Alien Covenant came out. They were doing, it was him, Peter, the bearded movie guy, or I believe is his channel, and Brian Lomax, maybe one other guy, but we were discussing spoilers on Alien Covenant. And yeah, so he invited me into his channel to do this spoiler talk on Alien Covenant, and that was the first time that I met Brian. And my introduction to Brian was him and Peter getting into it within like 15 minutes of this live stream. Like, Brian's like, well, let me finish my bloody point. Like, they were going at it. And I'm like, guys, we're in the credits. We haven't even like gotten to the first plot point of the movie. So then I met Brian, and then quickly after that, Brian was invited to be a part of Scream Stream, and then that became kind of permanent. So that was kind of how everything lined up for that. So that was a long story, but that's kind of me going back over the events. And Holly's calling me right now. Why are you calling me while I'm live, woman? I'll call you back. Let me text her before I get yelled at. Some fake person has you pick, and okay, so I got a fake person here. Hide user on this channel. That was not me. If you don't see the yellow, then that is not me. So somebody came in. I don't know what they said. So if they said something fucked up, I apologize. I was chatting away. Wow, fake channel. Yeah, so I don't know what he said, guys. But that wasn't me, obviously. It's kind of hard to talk like this and type at the same time, so hopefully nobody was buying into it. Thank you, Holly, for letting me know. She was like blowing me up like, there's an imposter. So yeah, I don't know where I was here. Let me see. Before that fuckhead came in, let me see where I'm at here. Just people talking with him. Where's my questions at here? Can you review The House of Wax 2005, please? Eventually. That's my classic answer. I do like that remake. I think it's actually pretty good. Paris Hilton's terrible, but it's fun seeing her die on her knees. Thoughts on Overlord? Will you review it? No, I think the ball has already kind of, or the time has passed for me to review Overlord, but I liked it quite a bit. I actually just got it in the mail today. I bought the 4K, so it made my top 5 horror films, I believe. I think it was number 3. 3C Films, congrats on 25K, bud. Thank you. With Blumhouse showing interest in Scream, should it still remain a commentary on horror films or reinvent slasher franchise because it needs it? I don't know if it really needs to be reinvented. I think we're back in kind of, with Halloween succeeding the way that it is, I think we've got a nice little resurgence in slashers. So I don't think it really needs to be reinvented. It just kind of needed to be reintroduced with a movie that people liked. So I think that battle's already won. It needs to be a commentary on horror films. That's what Scream is at its heart. So if they abandon that, it's just a slasher movie with a ghost costume. So I think they need to really dive into that, and they need to make it clever. They need to make it on the line of what Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven did with the first one, and make it where it's this really fresh take on the franchise, but not like reinventing the franchise necessarily, or reinventing the genre. Have you ever wanted to make your own horror film, short film? Yes. I mean, I write pretty damn well. I don't sit around and write scripts necessarily, but I do come up with ideas and stuff like that. Like that's how Pitch Wars and everything got started. So if I had the resources, I would absolutely make one, but I don't think I ever will. But yeah, I would love to do that. I'd have a blast doing that. Oh, Holly, there's a question for you in the chat. Hey, Holly, what movie makes Cody bawl like a baby? And I'm going to sit here until you answer. Just kidding. If she chimes in, I'll read it. He told your secret about Justin Bieber. I wonder what secret that was. Secret's out. Bieber fever. John Kyle Stanton, $8. Cody, congrats on 25K. Good night. Thank you, sir. And keep an eye out. I'm still waiting for that package to come in. Not yours, but the other package I was told about in my my P.O. box. If it's not here by this weekend, I'm going to go ahead and do a video on just your package. But if I could do both at the same time, I was going to do that. So I have not forgot about you or your package. I've yet to even open it. I want it to be kind of a surprise when I open it. So keep an eye out for that. I have not forgot about you, but good night and thank you. Peter Gallagher, did you like the movie Bohemian Rhapsody? Yes, it was my 5th favorite film of this past year. I really enjoyed it. Was it as down and dirty and realistic and true to life as it could have been? No, but it was still very enjoyable. I think that Rami Malek was awesome. Everybody giving him shit saying he just did like lip syncing and is getting an Oscar nomination. I think that's fucking ridiculous, but I really enjoyed the movie quite a bit. So I look forward to watching it again. I got the Best Buy Steelbook. I think that's probably one of Holly's favorite movies this year too, if not her favorite. Like the movie Cam, there's a second Cody out there. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't go that far. That'll be bizarre. Cody, what's your favorite singer? It's a very close race between Aaron Lewis and Corey Taylor. All he said was he liked Halloween 5. Okay, so it was somebody trolling me just saying the opposite things to me. That's kind of scary. That means you know me very well and you're a fan of the channel and you watch me regularly and you're going to go through the trouble of making a fake account just to irritate me. That's kind of backwards fandom there, my friend. Would you like to see a Pennywise versus Art the Clown film? No, not really. Would you review The Crow? Interesting question, because one of my patrons, Joseph Jones, I believe, just requested The Crow. So The Crow will be coming very soon as a patron requested review. And that's a very awesome patron request review because that's a movie I definitely want to review. So keep an eye out for that. I am heavily considering wearing makeup for it like I did for Jason Lives and In the Mouth of Madness. So don't hold me to that, but that's an idea that I have. But keep an eye out for that. Probably by, I would say probably by the end of this month, The Crow will be out. Cody, fan of Tool or the Deftones? The only song by Tool that I know is Sober. That's a band that I kind of skipped over completely. Deftones is kind of the same answer as Pantera. They're not a band I know whole albums by, but we had about 4 or 5 songs that I genuinely like, and it tends to be probably the singles that everybody else likes, like Roller Skates, Change in the House of Flies, songs like that. So yeah, they're bands that I like a few songs, but I don't really know a whole lot about them. Caitlin Marjica, if I pronounced that correctly. Did you think that The Lost Boys is due for a remake? We talked about this a little bit on my live stream with Durbin, our State of the DCEU, but I'll kind of reiterate what I said on that stream. No. I think The Lost Boys is a movie that is going to be extremely hard to remake because I don't know how you can effectively make that movie without the 80s setting. I think a lot of the 80s stuff is what gives that movie its heart, like the style, the way that Kiefer Sutherland's character looks, his hair, the music, the way that the kids and the mom interact in the video store and everything. Like it 80s is so ingrained into that movie's soul. I don't know how you can make a modern remake of it and have it not just be a modern vampire movie with the Lost Boys thrown on it, you know? And the sequels were terrible. The show coming out on CW, I have no faith in that. So no, I don't think it's due for a remake. Not just because I love it to death. I genuinely don't know how you can remake that movie and either do kind of what they did and have it work in a modern setting, or do something completely different and have it feel nothing like Lost Boys. Could you do a review for Jaws? Yes. A lot of these questions, guys, with the could you do a review for, I understand a lot of you guys have favorite movies you want me to see, but it's basically going to be the same answer for all of them. If it's not a patron request that I'm going to have to do very quickly, it's going to be, yeah, eventually, or absolutely not. So, I mean, it's just to let you know, just for the redundancy of kind of seeing that question. Can you review this? Can you review that? Yeah, there's hundreds and hundreds of movies that I want to review. But unfortunately, just because of time, I can only review 4 dozen or something like that in a year. So it's maybe more than that. Maybe I'm settling myself short, but yeah, those questions are kind of a little bit repetitive, guys. So I love you to death, but just reading those questions over and over and over again. Let's see here. Cody, will you review Robert Rodriguez or Quentin Tarantino films? Yes, I actually have one of my patron requests is top 5 Quentin Tarantino films. So that's another one to look forward to soon. That's not quite the same as doing a ranking. And once I review them, my thoughts might change. But yes, there will be at some point a Quentin Tarantino review series. Robert Rodriguez, probably not. The only movie of his that I genuinely want to review is The Faculty. So maybe Grindhouse that they did and From Dusk Till Dawn. I forget that he did that one too. So just those ones. But Quentin Tarantino, absolutely, at some point. All right, let me see if Holly Jones. He cries how beautiful I am all the time, but I don't really see him cry watching movies. Ryan O'Toole in the chat. Hope all is well. Most anticipated movie of 2019. What's going on, man? Most anticipated movie of 2019 is Child's Play, just because there's so much at stake with that movie and finally getting that franchise back to a respectable level that I want it to succeed so bad that's the one I'm anticipating the most. Close second is probably Pet Sematary. People quit asking them questions. It takes a lot of thought. Those are the most fun questions to ask, though. All the little rapid fire questions aren't fun. You gonna review this? Yes. What do you think of this? I like it. You gonna review this? Yes. You know what I mean? Freddy versus Myers, thoughts? I really don't want any more of these versus movies. I don't think that you could, we're lucky we got the movie that Freddy versus Jason was. And a lot of people don't even like that movie. I think it's great, but we're lucky that it was the quality that it was. I would be up for another Freddy versus Jason only if Robert Englund would come back to do it, just to kind of as one last hurrah. If it's another guy, I don't think there's any point, because the point of that movie would be nostalgia. And you're not going to have nostalgia with Robert Englund not playing Freddy. But Freddy versus anybody else, anybody versus anybody, I really don't have any interest in it. Have you played the game Outlast? Asked by Riemann 6000. Yes, I liked it quite a bit. It get a little bit repetitive after a while, but I liked it. I didn't play the second one. Holly Jones, that's sweet. He sounds like a keeper. And then right below that, if he ever proposes. Power Up Productions, congratulations on 25K for real this time. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Have you seen or are you a fan of Sons of Anarchy? Yes, I'm a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy. I think that the show gets a little bit hokey once in a while. It's not like, it's nowhere near as good as Breaking Bad, but it's a damn good show. And yes, I have the collector's set, the one that's got like the table as like the big case that holds all the Blu-rays and everything. I was rewatching it with Holly a couple years ago, and we got all the way to like the 3rd or 4th episode in season 6, and then we just stopped for some reason. I don't know if we got bored watching it or something else took over, or Shameless came back on or something. But it's been like 2 years since we watched the beginning of season 6, so she has not finished the show. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy. I haven't watched the Mayans. I've heard it was really good, but believe in the hype. Thoughts on Scream Factory and what movies need a Scream Factory release? And we're coming up to 10:15, so after I do this one, I'll probably answer 5 more. So Scream Factory, I think, is awesome. I love what they do, kind of bringing back these old forgotten movies and giving them a respectable Blu-ray release, because there's so many movies that are awesome that do not get a respectable Blu-ray release. They get some bullshit port, or they don't get a Blu-ray release at all. So I love that. I love the cover art. I love the fact that you get posters with the movie if you order directly for them as a pre-order. I love everything that they do, adding these new HD scans, adding these cool little features back in. I think they're awesome. What movie needs a Scream Factory release? Going back to my first question of the night, the 1986 Trick or Treat needs one. I would say the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise in general needs a box set that is like the Halloween box set, because the box set that we have is fucking a travesty that's the only box set we have for Nightmare movies. And for a random one, I would say Christine, I think, would be a really cool Scream Factory release. Let me see. I'm going to do 5 more questions, guys. So I'm going to kind of pick and choose now. I answer some ones that really I can talk about. The Red Hood, are you excited for Fast 9, or do you think they should have stopped at 7? No, I'm not really excited for Fast 9. The imposter Cody won't leave. Is he back? I don't see him anywhere. Back to your question, though. Do you think it should stop at 7? I don't know necessarily if they should stop at 7. It feels like they should have stopped after Paul Walker died, but this is the issue with the Fast and the Furious franchise, is it keeps getting dumber. Fast 5 is like one of the best action movies ever. Fast 5 is fucking awesome. Then you get to Fast 6, and there's superhero shit. There's him diving across the interstate and all kinds of stupid shit. And then you get to 7, it's even more over the top when they're fucking jumping through the building in Dubai. You get to the Furious 8, or whatever, the Fate of the Furious, and that one goes even further with the stupid. And it's just like, dude, I know you're trying to up yourself with the stunts, but it's so fucking unbelievable at this point that it's like lost all sight of what the franchise was. And even in Fast 5, when it was getting more into like a heist film, like even just some of the groundedness of that movie is lost. So it's just like superheroes now. So that's where I could have taken 10 of the Fast and the Furious movies if they stuck to the direction they went with Fast 5. But because they get so dumb with it, it's ridiculous now. It's like the most like shut your brain off and watch the movie kind of thing. Hobbs and Shaw looks pretty cool. That looks kind of like a really over-the-top Tango and Cash. I have more interest in that than I do another Fast movie. But it doesn't help that Paul Walker's not there. You know, it just Fate of the Furious had a gigantic hole in it, and that's why. So am I excited for Fast 9? Not really. Maybe when I see a trailer, I'll be like, oh, that's an interesting direction, but who knows? I definitely don't think they should make 10, 11, or 12 of them, but they keep making more money with each one that they make, so they're going to keep making them until they lose money. 4 more. Peter Gallagher, love your channel. Do you like the movie Valentine? Funny enough, you asked that because I actually just rewatched Valentine this past Saturday, I got the Scream Factory release, which we just got done talking about. Rewatched it for the first time since the movie came out. 2002 or something like that. It's okay. It's decent. There's some decent stuff in there. It's a very paint by numbers slasher. The kills aren't all that inventive. The characters are solid. The main girls. It does have a decent amount of I say decent because to me it's obvious who the killer is, but it does have a decent amount of red herrings going on in it. Overall, though, it's a very paint by numbers average slasher. It's cool that it has the Valentine's Day theme to it. It's always cool to have like a holiday theme in your slasher, but I don't think Valentine does anything all that special. So it's okay. I'm glad that I own it. It's a movie that I would watch again and be okay with, but it's never a movie that I would do like I would want a sequel for, or a movie that I would like put in my top 5, 10, 15, 20 slashers of all time. So that's my thoughts on that. CSFL champion, do you go to Halloween Horror Nights or other horror events? I really wanted to go this past year when they had the Halloween 4 event thing going on, but I just couldn't swing it. Couldn't figure out. I couldn't really swing the money it was going to cost or the time off. So no, I have yet to be to Halloween Horror Nights, but I would love to go. And other horror events, really the only other thing that's close to here is Spooky Empire that they do in Orlando, which I kind of want to go to this year, but I have so many events that I'm doing this year. Like I just did Aaron Lewis a couple of weeks ago. I've got Rockville coming up in May. I've got the Queen concert with Adam Lambert that I bought for Holly's birthday in August. And a lot of things that I need to pay for. So I can't really justify taking time off work and going to an event and stuff like that beyond that stuff. So I would love to do Spooky Empire one year. I think Lee goes every year. So I think it would be cool to meet up with him and maybe even get some of the other Scream Stream guys to come, guys and gal to come down and do our own little thing, like a little, not like a reunion, but like a meetup. So, let me see here. Hunter Thrasher, thoughts on Blumhouse wanting to make 10 more Halloween movies? I talked about this a little bit on my stream with Durbin as well. Anybody that's worried about the 10 Halloween sequels comment needs to read the actual article and read exactly what Jason Blum said. The guy was just using hyperbole. He's not being serious about having plans for 10 movies. What he was basically saying is somebody was asking him, are you getting the ball rolling on the Halloween sequel? And he basically said, well, technically we don't even have the rights to do it yet. So no, they're going to get the rights. They'd be idiots to not give them the rights after all the success of Halloween 2018. But he's saying, like, as far as red tape goes and dotting the I's and crossing the T's, we don't have the rights to do a sequel yet. So no, we don't have any balls rolling on that one yet. But yeah, I'd love to make 10 of them. So he's basically saying, legally, we don't have the right to do it just yet, so we haven't started it, but I would love to make the shit out of some Halloween sequels. So he's not saying like we have a plan in place on a dry erase board and a meeting board saying Halloween 2018 to Halloween, 4042 or some shit like that. It's just hyperbole. So yeah, it's nothing to really talk about. It's non-news. We'll probably get 2 sequels out of this timeline, maybe 3 at most. What was that, 3? We'll do 2 more questions, guys. This isn't one of them, but when's the next commentary? I'll try to do one this weekend because I need to get one out. Let's see here. Ooh. Holly wants a golf cart, Cody. Golf cart, please. What the fuck do you want a golf cart for? I don't have anywhere to put a golf cart. You're out of your mind. Captain D, do you collect NECA figures and other figure collections? I used to collect the shit out of Funko Pops. I'll still buy one once in a great, great while, but I've slowed down a lot on those because I have a lot of them that are just sitting in a box right now that I have no room to do anything with. I actually just kind of started getting into the NECA figures. I bought a Dream Warriors one at Target like back in September or something. I just came across it. I was like, I must buy this. I bought the Dream Warriors and I bought the Jason from Final Chapter. And then I bought the Michael Myers from Halloween 2018, and Holly bought me the Chucky one for Christmas. So I have all like the main four as far as I'm concerned. NECA figures. I have the Billy one from the Silent Night, Deadly Night. I bought the Scream Factory release that came with the NECA figure. So yeah, I'm starting to like those quite a bit. They're not like, you know, Hot Toys figures necessarily, but they're pretty cool. So I like those. And let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I collect. Other than that, I get the Bandbox Horror, and you guys know I get Loot Crate Gaming and stuff like that. So whatever comes in them, I collect those. But as far as stuff that I'll go out and buy, I've got like, you know, 4 or 5 NECA figures now. So I kind of like those. I'd like to get more. Last question of the night. Why do you hate me? What did I do? What did I do, Holly? I said no golf cart. Let me see. Nick P, what direction should they go for the next Friday the 13th movie? We'll end on that one. If I had it my way, you would bring Derek Mears back. You would make it a direct sequel to the 2009 remake. You don't have to really go out of your way to explain. You don't have to like bring characters back and anything. Just keep that same Jason and roll on with it. I don't see any reason to reboot it again. There's not like a whole lot of story in the Friday the 13th movies anyway that you have to kind of explain away. So I think they should do a direct sequel with Derek Mears. I want to see it actually at a camp. Like they can redo the camp and bring the camp back or whatever. And maybe that's what brings Jason back to life, like the curse. And if it was possible, if you're not going to go the camp route, which I know is an idea that they've said before, but it's one of the only things that you could really do to kind of change up the visual aesthetic of a Friday the 13th movie. I'd like to see one set in the winter, like the snow. But I was trying to come up with an idea, and I think I might have said this on a previous Q&A, but I did have an idea. If I was going to do like a pitch wars, I would write a script about this. If I was going to pitch the sequel for the 2009 remake, I would pitch it that the Camp Crystal Lake gets reopened, like somebody buys it, wants to refurbish it and open it back up for kids. The camp gets opened. There's one of the kids, like it kind of feels like sleepaway camp. Like put yourself in that kind of a feel, like the kids running around and everything like that. One of the kids gets severely bullied by the other kids, and he ends like the Jason curse is kind of known, like it's like the urban legend. The kids all tell it, just like the scene of Friday the 13th 2 around the campfire. Everybody knows about the Jason curse and Mrs. Voorhees and everything. So Jason is kind of like the boogeyman that everybody kind of half believes in. So this kid always gets severely abused, and I haven't really worked out the details on it yet, but somehow through his grief, like he figures out a way to summon Jason, like unknowingly. Like he goes and it's kind of like cursing everybody, and he accidentally brings Jason back kind of thing. But nonetheless, so through his grief, he brings Jason back. Jason ends up slaughtering people for the rest of the movie, like slaughtering camp counselors, maybe even have some kids who are around 15 or 16 that will kind of somewhat give the idea that maybe he would kill some of the kids and not fully go there, because I know it's kind of taboo. But I want a Jason that looks like he would be an unstoppable, killing machine. So Jason, for like the second act into the third act, starts killing camp counselors and stuff like that, and focus on really good kills. And then in the third act, this kid who gets bullied has to figure out a way to put down Jason, and either through killing him or doing something with regarding his mother, like the old trick where they kind of stun him or whatever, some way this kid is integral in stopping Jason. And then the final scene of the movie would be all the parents coming to pick all the kids up, the surviving kids, while they clean up the massacre or whatever. And it's revealed then, which was kind of going to be like a bit of a twist, that they never revealed this character's name throughout the whole movie. But they reveal then through the final scene that this kid who's been tormented, his name is Tommy Jarvis. So to me, that would be a pretty badass way to have a direct sequel to Friday the 13th, bring more of the supernatural element into it, bring the character Tommy Jarvis into it, bring the camp back, and then you can go from there. So that's kind of an idea that I came up with one day that I would kind of like to, fill it out a little bit more. But I thought that was kind of a cool idea. So I don't know if everybody would be up for that, but it's some form of that idea I thought would be pretty badass. Let me see. I know that was the last one, but I'll take one more good one if I have it. Let me see here. Golf cart. What do you... I've never heard you want a golf cart. Why do you want a golf cart all of a sudden? Crazy. Nick P, that gave me chills. I like that idea a lot. Cool. Maybe I'll do a pitch wars with that idea against CP or something like that. The Friday expert. Or I'll do Brian Lomax. That would be interesting because Brian doesn't even like that series. Let's see. So yeah, I'll take one more. I'll let you guys kind of chime in on a few of them, and I'll just pick one more and try to end it right at 10:30. Nice little round number. Wouldn't that mean they'd have to disregard Part 4 and Friday? Well, this is a sequel to the remake, so Part 4 doesn't even exist in that timeline. Let me see here. The Stacking Stormtrooper. So it's a super chat, so I'll end on this one. Cody, Jason died as a child. How did he grow to an adult? Rule number one in the Friday the 13th franchise: continuity can go fuck itself. That is, do not try to connect the dots in that series because it's fucking impossible. How did he die as a kid but grows to be an adult in Friday the 13th Part 2? How does he adult if his mother never knew he was there? Like, wouldn't he have like said, "Hey mom, I'm still alive"? Like, there's so many questions that this franchise has never bothered to even fucking go close to answering. And I don't have the answer. It's literally just a continuity error. They said nobody gives a fuck. This is a cheap knockoff slasher. The first one was, we're going to do a sequel because it made money. Nobody is going to ask any questions about who Jason is or why Jason exists or why he's an adult, because we're just going to do 2, get our money, and move on. You know what I mean? So they were wrong. But that's it. It's just it's an answer that we'll never have unless they answer it in a new remake timeline or something like that. They didn't even bother answering it in the remake. He just fucking showed up as a kid and picked up the machete or whatever after his mom got killed. Like that, it almost made even less sense in the remake because it's like, dude, you were like right fucking there. You couldn't have called out to your mom. But yeah. So I didn't have another super chat. Did I miss one? Nope, that was the last one. So all right, cool. Cody, when's the Dave McRae crossover? I don't even know yet, man. We haven't like hammered down a date or anything. We just chatted about what we could possibly do. So in the near future. But that is it, guys. That is my Q&A for 25,000. Thank you guys so much for participating. Thank you so much for supporting the channel as always by watching the videos, liking them, commenting on them, sharing them, subscribing, obviously. I mean, I do a lot of the work, but I mean, you guys are the reason why the channel keeps growing because you keep showing up and keep supporting me. So thank you so much. I'll see you again on another Q&A at some point. I don't know when, maybe 30,000, maybe just a random night when I'm bored, but look forward to, I'm going to try my best this weekend if I have time to do a commentary. Now that I got this mic, I want to play around with it a little bit more. So somebody suggested Bride of Chucky. I don't know. I might do something else, but I'm going to try my best to do a commentary this weekend. Keep an eye out for some more patron requests. I'm still going to be working on those until I get them all taken care of while there's kind of a slow movie season. So we've got Satan's Little Helper coming up very soon, which I watched for the first time. We've got Silver Bullet. We've got The Crow. We've got Sinister. We've got what the fuck else do we have? I'm missing something. Actually, I have my list right here. What the fuck am I talking about? So, yes, saw those. Got Night of the Creeps, top 5 Tarantino movies, Amityville Horror, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Deathgasm, Inception, Red Heat, The Prestige. These are all movies that I have requests for right now. So I'm going to get them cut down to where I at least have all but maybe 5 left before I start doing anything else, like a new review series or anything like that. I'll do the random video here and there like I did the Resident Evil 2 and stuff like that. Or if something comes out in the theaters that I'm not remembering. But so far, the ones you look forward to the most soon to now is Satan's Little Helper, Night of the Creeps, Silver Bullet, and The Crow. So look out for those guys. Look out for that commentary this weekend. Thank you all again. Thank you for the super chats, everybody that participated in that as well. That always helps the channel. Thank you for the great questions. Hope everybody has a good night. Hopefully I can get to sleep sometime soon. Otherwise, I'm going to be worthless tomorrow. But everybody have a good night. Thank you so much. So